Powers' 2006 novel The Echomaker explores personal trauma in the post-9/11 era by weaving together science, spirituality, and the natural world. Set along the backroads of Kearney, Nebraska in 2002, the novel opens with a vivid, enduring image: migrating cranes. Powers frequently returns to this motif, describing the birds as ribbons stretching across the sky. This striking natural spectacle stands in stark contrast to the central tragedy of the story: a harrowing accident involving 27-year-old Mark Schluter, who flips his truck on a deserted road one February night. Initially, hope seems possible, but Mark's condition quickly deteriorates as his brain swells and he slips into a coma. Upon awakening, he perceives his closest family member, his sister Karin, as an imposter. Mark has developed Capgras Syndrome, a disorder that fosters extreme paranoia. He is convinced that Karin has been replaced by a replica, despite her familiar appearance, voice, and intimate knowledge of his life. Karin is devastated, having devoted herself entirely to caring for her brother, and she must learn to navigate the profound shift in their bond. Mark extends this delusional suspicion to his home, which he dubs Homestar, and his dog Blakey, believing both have been substituted by fakes. Yet his relationships with less central figures like his friends and girlfriend Bonnie remain relatively unaffected. Compounding his paranoia, Mark struggles to remember the crash itself. A classic all-American young man devoted to beer, video games, and his truck, he would not have overturned his vehicle sober without cause. Two mysterious elements exacerbate his psychosis: an anonymous note left by his bedside stating, "I am no one, but tonight on North Line Road God led me to you so you could live and bring back someone else," and a persistent image of a white figure in the road just before the accident. Driven by doubt and obsession, Mark becomes consumed with uncovering the truth behind his crash. Mark's case soon attracts the attention of renowned neurologist Gerald Weber. Karin, desperate for help, had written to Weber, a respected scientist known for studying rare disorders. Weber is intrigued as Capgras syndrome rarely results from a head injury; it typically appears in cases of schizophrenia. He travels to meet the siblings while grappling with his own personal struggles, a 30-year marriage with Sylvie that has lost its spark alongside professional criticism and ethical scrutiny. Powers draws a sharp ironic parallel between Weber and Mark. While Mark wrestles to recognize his sister, Weber faces accusations of deceit in both his professional and personal life. His books have fallen out of favor, and critics accuse him of exploiting patients for personal gain. The theme of playing pretend extends into Weber's private life. Rather than confronting his failing marriage, he embarks on an affair with Barbara Gillespie, the nurse's aide attending to Mark. As Mark begins treatment with antipsychotics, he experiences social isolation as a side effect. The combination of medication, lingering trauma, and unanswered questions about the crash drives him to attempt suicide through an overdose. Surviving the attempt, Powers marks a transformation, referring to him thereafter as Mark III. While the first half of the novel emphasizes existential reflection, the latter half shifts focus to Mark's pursuit of answers through a network of characters and mysteries. Karin reconnects with two former boyfriends, Daniel Siegel, a childhood friend and conservationist protecting a crane refuge, and Robert Karsh, a developer whose goals clash with Daniel's. Karin grows closer to Daniel and the refuge's cause. Meanwhile, Mark struggles with the ongoing effects of his injury, and Weber navigates his feelings for Barbara. Daniel warns Weber that Barbara may not be who she seems, labeling her a spy opposing the crane refuge. Confronted, Barbara reveals the truth: she is a journalist covering the crane migration with a deeper connection to Mark and Weber than her role as nurse suggests. Barbara was the mysterious figure in the road the night of the accident. She had been contemplating ending her own life, but Mark's actions saved her. Consumed by gratitude and guilt, she spent the following year observing Mark's recovery as his caregiver. She also discloses that Mark himself authored the anonymous note before his coma, implying a divine influence in his role in saving her life, an important detail, given their religious upbringing. This revelation restores a sense of purpose and faith in Mark's life, previously defined almost solely by his relationship with Karin. Despite initial anger, Mark forgives Barbara, recognizing the positive outcome. He saved her life. He even suggests she seek employment at the crane refuge where a researcher is needed, embracing the newfound meaning in both their lives. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.